Welcome to Watches with Ben, where I talk about watches I picked up for my personal collection, as well as present score-based analysis of watch types. Today, it's a watch from my collection. It's the Yes Worldwatch V7. Was this a good or a bad choice? Keep watching to find out. Give you all my thoughts. I got the PVD version, it's titanium, with yellow and orange rings on the inside, and then the black and yellow 24-hour bezel. It's a very unique watch with a lot of quirks. I've long been a fan of 24-hour time presentation, tritium lume, and dual-time bezels, and the watch has all those things. This watch brings a lot of other extremely cool things to the table as well. However, despite all the cool stuff, there are also many quirks of the watch that are kind of annoying, I'll be honest. But I'll give you all my thoughts on it, having owned the watch and worn it over the last 7 months. First, I'll cover the specs and features, then the numerous functions on the watch, then my positives and negatives, and I'll end with my final thoughts. And there are chapters for the different segments. Now for the specs and features. Specifications. Alright, it is 47 millimeters across by my measurement. It is 22 millimeter lug width. The thickness is 17.4. I think they say 16 on the website. That is untrue. The lug to lug is 52 millimeters. The weight is only 82 grams. That's really nice. It's 100 meters water resistant. It has a sapphire crystal. Movement inside is a master quartz. Very high accuracy. The price I paid was $445, and it's made of titanium with black PVD coating. On to the features. All right, the first thing is complications. I'll cover them more in the function segment, but I'll cover what's on the dial right now. On the primary display, you've got a 24-hour hand. See, it's pointing, well, it's 5 o'clock, but it's pointing at like the 1700 right there. I put the bezel, it makes it a little bit easier. Yeah, it's pointing at 1700. There's a digital display here, which you can show in AM, PM like I have, or you can show 24-hour time if you prefer. There's a moon phase at 6 o'clock, so you can see the moon is waxing gibbous, I think. I can't remember exactly the terminology for what the moon phase is. Let's bring in this guy. Waning gibbous right now. Okay, it's waning gibbous. That's the moon phase. The moon is yellow, so look at the yellow ring to find out moon information. You can see the moon rise, the moon set. You can see lunar noon, and they even show you the opposite. You know, the moon's on the other side of the planet, so we can't see it when it's at the opposite, but you can see lunar noon is going to be at like 5 a.m. The orange ring is for the sun information, and that's where it gets pretty cool because you've got sundown and then twilight. And you've got sun up and twilight. Those are very cool. I love to see that. And the orange ring shows you solar noon. Yeah, solar zenith is technically what it's called. 1300 is solar zenith. And true midnight is this yellow mark here at 1 a.m. But those change depending on the time of the year and everything. And like I said, I'll cover the complications on other screens in the functions segment. That'll be later. There's a lot of functions to this watch. Okay, the display. I just discussed the cool digital display you have here on the front. It's just a normal LCD screen, so you are going to get ghosting when it's at angles. It's not going to be quite as crisp as LCD screens tend to be. It is very interesting to look at, and when I'm looking head on, I don't have any issues reading it. It's just a little bit faint. It'd be nicer if it was higher contrast. Okay, the indexes and printing. The analog hand is really nice. It's got a cool design to it, kind of a sun pattern in the middle. It's a cool hand they have there. And that hand includes a tritium tube on the end for viewing at night. There's printed Arabics on the dial every 3 hours. It's every hour on the bezel, but on the dial itself, it's every 3 hours. See 24, 03, 06. There's printed triangles every single hour. And then every half hour, there's like a stick with a little dot at the end. The chapter ring has this nice bicolor. It's like checkered for the daytime in gray, and then it's black at night. That's pretty cool. Lume on the watch. There are 15 total tubes on the watch. One was on the hand, as I mentioned. 13 are here for the nighttime hours, and then there's one at the top. And then every daylight hour has conventional lume on it. And then there's a backlight at well, pressed with the 20 button. The lume is definitely impressive on this watch. It's very nice. And I really like glancing over it at night because with the tritium tubes, I can easily see like how far in the night has it gone. And that's one really cool thing about one-hand watches is It gives you a feel for how far you are along in a really long time increment. Like here, 12 hours. You know, at night I can see where that is, and I can see, oh, it's past midnight. It's very cool. I really like the tritium. Okay, the date is accessed by pressing this button up here. You see we get month, date, and day. And then if I wait forever, it tells me day of the year. The week of the year, it's the 37th week, tells me the year, 2025. And then at long last, it tells me I'm in Denver and back to the main screen. I think you can cycle through faster if you want. Let me see. Oh, nope. Crazy stuff happens. My goodness. And this is technically the back button. Back will not save you. Back never saves you with this watch. How do I get out of this screen? Who knows? I probably just have to wait 5 minutes for it to go away. Oh no. If I press this more, oh, it goes through other stuff. Okay, I just had to press it more. All right, pressing the same button more times got me out of that. That was scary for a second. Okay, it has a sapphire crystal on the front. That's nice. I'm glad it's sapphire. The bezel has a aluminum insert, and it's bicolor. You've got black for night and then shiny gold for the day. Aluminum is the right choice. It looks really pretty. Ceramic is nice for bezels, but it never looks quite as pretty as aluminum. And yes, you're going to scratch the aluminum. I think I've scratched this one. And it indicates the half hours as well. There's little dashes for the half hours. That's really nice. It is a bi-directional bezel with 120 clicks. The action on it, it has distinct clicks, but there's a lot of play. So every time you click it, you can really move it good amount either way. And it's very loose, so it gets knocked off by multiple hours if it bumps into anything whatsoever. One minor quibble is with the 120 click bezel. I'll just show you. I know this may seem pedantic, but with 120 clicks, that means there are 5 clicks in between each hour. So if I go to 13, is that centered? Let's just pretend 13 centered. I'll hold the watch so it's sort of centered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 is not equally divisible, so that half hour cannot truly align. It's always going to be to the left or to the right. Yeah, it would have been better if it was a 48 click bezel. Then you'd get the half hours. It would just be 1 click straight from the 13 to the half hour mark, 1 more click straight to the 14. But with the 120, it's just a little bit loosey-goosey. And yeah, you can kind of, with the play, you could, if you really want to track half hours, you could kind of ease it into where you want it to go. Small detail. And it's not a huge deal by any means. They do offer a lot of other cool bezel options that are not just a 24-hour scale, but I had to get the 24. That's what I like. Case finishing. Okay, the finishing is very plain. As I mentioned, it's titanium. It has a thick PVD coating. There's some engraving here on the side. It's got kind of a drum shape to it. It flares out on the sides, kind of like a kettle or a drum. It says yes on the left-hand AM side. The lugs on it curve down nicely. That's appreciated. I do like that. And you can see it's got screw bars for attaching the straps. So you need 2 little screwdrivers, which they supply. Company supplies you 2 nice little screwdrivers so you can take the strap off if you want, which is what I did. The strap came on this brown leather strap here. That's what I ordered. That's what I wanted. A little bit funky, some crazy stuff going on with it. It's pretty high quality. The leather is really nice. The keepers are not so nice. They're kind of funky. The main reason I swapped it is because I can't stand when the buckle doesn't match the case. It's one of my things. And yeah, the steel buckle, I mean, maybe it's titanium, probably not, but oh no, it's stainless steel. Yeah, I couldn't do that. So I got a strap that had matching hardware. But they were nice enough to give me an extra strap with it. They also offer some fun looking NATO straps that you can get with this watch. I went with the leather. I thought I would like the brown leather. Turns out black is a little bit better. And yeah, I like this strap I got off of AliExpress. As I mentioned, it's the stainless steel clasp, and they have signed it. It's signed with the yes. Okay, there's no crown on this thing. You just have pushers. 4 pushers. And I'll show you those in detail when we go to the functions. They're a little bit guarded. There's kind of a little nub that goes around here. The case isn't ugly. It's just kind of plain. Pushes are nicely rounded. It's all smooth. Case back is screw in with 4 tiny little flathead screws. It says Worldwatch 10 ATM sapphire titanium Trigolite H3 24-hour lunar movement. It looks like it's serialized. I wouldn't be surprised. This is cool too. This is the charging ring for magnetic charging. As I mentioned, the movement is a master quartz. You charge the watch on this charger here. You just stick it right in here. Charges up fairly quickly, maybe an hour or something, half hour. I haven't timed how long it takes to charge, but you do have to charge it every few months. That master quartz movement has a stated accuracy of plus or minus a half second per month. So it's really accurate. I have not tested it. I'm just taking them at their word for that. I don't get all worked up about seconds of deviation. This watch has been incredibly precise. I'm curious how it syncs up with the... okay, these aren't exactly the same. This one's a Bluetooth cell phone watch. It does come with a great warranty. It's a 2-year warranty. Here it is, 2-year limited warranty. It's really excellent. I mean, they really treat their customers well. This watch was designed with a lot of love and care, and that comes through. Let's take a look at the box. Here's the box that came in. It's got a plain white cover thing. Very cool logo. I like that. So lunar. The sun and the moon. Inside, this is very cool. A nice little place to keep your extra straps. I think that's where the strap was kept. Even another extra strap. Very cool design box. Obviously the watch sat in here. And then there's this extra little cubby where you can keep other things. It came, as you see, it came with 2 screwdrivers, as I mentioned, as well as 2 extra lug bars. If you lose one or somehow mess it up, there are 2 extra ones. So that was very thoughtful. May as well put these back. On to the functions. All right, let's do the functions. For me, the functions are incredibly confusing to use. Thankfully, the watch comes with a really excellent user manual. It flips up like this. You see the buttons are all named L, S, B, and M. There's no way I could ever remember that. And you probably won't either, so I'll refer to it as the 16, the 20, the 4, and the 8. Manual is sweet. No question about that the manual's sweet. Yeah, it doesn't say what they are on the watch, but essentially you need this manual. Anytime you want to do the slightest thing with the watch, you need to pull out this manual. And I have no critique with the manual. It's well made. Now let's see here. I can fit it on the screen. So as you page through, you can always see the legend on every page. It's always there for your viewing pleasure. I don't think I'm going to cover every function in the manual. That would bore you to death, but I'll cover some key ones. Okay, the first thing is it's important to set the home city so that all your cool stuff, you know, with the sun and the moon, all that stuff is correct. So that's page 5. Watch was actually already set for me to Denver when I received it. So that was a really nice personal touch, and I really appreciate it. If you want to, you can also set your location using latitude and longitude. So that's nice. First cool feature is you can set an away city. And I haven't done this, I haven't traveled with this watch, but if there's a place you go, you know, I probably go to DC more than any other place, I would set that to my away city, and then I could just cycle between home and away easily. Okay, setting the time is something important. If the watch ever dies, if the battery runs out, you're gonna have to reset the time. So I've done that once. I just followed the instructions here. You know, all the things it says M 5 times and S and all this stuff. You do all that. You also have to calibrate the 24-hour hand. Next thing is they call it the time trim. Okay, at the beginning of the month, sync it up to atomic. At the end of the month, however much it's off, if it's off by an entire second, you can actually change it. You know, if it's a second fast at the end of the month, you can use this time trim thing to adjust it to run faster or slower than its default. So that's really cool. Next thing I want to cover is calibrating the 24-hour hand. If the battery dies, the 24-hour hand will be totally off, so you'll have to calibrate it. Just follow these instructions. I haven't really gotten to functions yet. Apparently you can change the rings. It's on page 12. You can change what the rings tell you. I don't know why you would do that. MR is moonrise, SR is sunrise. Oh, I guess you could turn twilight on and off. That's the main thing. I don't know why you would do that. It's cool to see the twilight. That's the like gray area. Okay, the digital compass. Okay, I guess I will actually do it so you can see. Oh no, what have I done? I pressed the wrong thing. Cuckoo, oh no. Can I get back to the main screen? I can't. If I hit back, will it go back? Back does not go back. I think I have to wait it out. I'm just gonna wait until it goes back to the main screen. I hope it does. Hope I didn't break the watch. My goodness. Okay, after like 2 minutes, it finally went back to the main screen. It is unbearably long how long it takes to go back. Okay, let's not mess this up. Use my manual. It says to press the M button twice until it says compass. All right, now press S16 once. Okay, this is annoying. It goes all the way around and you just sit there waiting. I don't know why the hand has to move at all. The hand has nothing to do with the compass, but it's just set up that it has to be at 12 o'clock. Now you have your compass. And it actually works pretty well. I might have some metal near me. It's a little bit slow to update. You can see there's kind of a delay as I turn it. But I tested this compass and it actually is pretty good. It's saying that's north. Yeah, kind of. Actually, north is this way. So it's a little bit off right now, but you could probably be calibrated. Okay, now when I want to leave compass, how do I leave compass? Oh, it's going to leave on its own, but can I? Okay, watch. It's going to go all the way around. And this is painfully slow. I'll speed it up for the recording. Oh, okay, it only went there. That makes sense. It's 8:19 right now. That was the compass. That wasn't so bad. The next feature I want to show you is I call it the report. And this is one I can always remember how to do. You just press down this button and you get, oh, that's the date. Oh no, what have I done? Okay, if you just hold this button, the 16 button, let's hold it down. You get this really cool report. City data, Denver, it tells me my date. I like that format. I would like that with the main one. The time, what? My latitude, longitude. Why do I need that? My time zone, DST. Here's cool information. Sun data. If I just wait, it'll go, but it takes like 30 seconds on each screen. It feels so slow. Sunrise. I'm just going to cycle through the zenith. It's just giving me the precise times for these kinds of things because the rings are not as precise. Oh, what is CT? I forget. Congressional time. Nautical twilight. Actual twilight, maybe? A lot of cool stuff on here. Moonrise, lunar high noon, moon set, luminance. These things are so cool. Moon waxing. Oh, waning. What am I even looking at? Oh, the full moon. It was telling me the new moon and the full moon, the dates for them. That is very cool. I just like to, I'm calling that the report, but you just hold this down for 2 seconds and you get that. Pretty cool feature. Okay, this is going to be a difficult one. The stopwatch. I wrote in my notes, it is impenetrably confusing. And legitimately, when I try to do this right now, I don't know if it's going to succeed or fail. Even with the manual in front of me and my notes, I'm still only 50% sure that it will not totally fail. What I would like to see is you go to the stopwatch, start, stop, reset. That would be lovely, but here's what we do instead. So to get to the stopwatch, you press this 3 times. Oh no, you don't. Damn it. Oh no. Oh no, what have I done? Okay, I got back to the home screen with the mode button. Okay. I press this 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Okay, stopwatch, that makes sense. And then 16, I press once. Okay, my stopwatch appears before me. Start is up here. I can never remember. Okay, so press this 4 times, then I press that, then I press this one. Okay, start the stopwatch. Cool. I started it. And then stopping is the same button. That makes sense. Cool. Okay, my stopwatch reads 5:61. But what's going to happen? What the heck? And now it's starting a different one from after the other one. This is lap 2. Okay, what do I do? The lap timer actually does up to 10 laps. They'll each start when you press this one. I don't know what the actual number is. It doesn't say, and I gave up at 11 when I saw there were 11 laps. That's as high as I got. But yeah, the initial stopwatch information is gone. So I have to press a bunch of other buttons to get here. Reset is where it totally gets crazy. I have in my notes, press 16. Did that stop the whole thing? Maybe it did. Then press 16 again. And then I press and then you press 4, and then you hold 8 for 2 seconds. Did it work? Ah, it worked. And then you tap 8 once more, and that's how you reset. My goodness, if I didn't have the notes, there's no way I would successfully do that. It went to recall. You recall to reset. I don't get it. I really don't get it. And I wish it was simpler because I like using stopwatches. There's so many ways to mess this up and get multiple extra laps and you don't even know what's going on. Let's see if you can just do start. Can I stop up here? Yes, I stopped up there. And then reset was 16, 16, 4, then hold this for 2 minutes. Why is reset 16, 16, 4, hold this for 2 minutes? Why is it flashing at me? Okay. Oh, and then you tap it once again at the end. Okay, maybe I could learn this. If you use the stopwatch all the time, you could probably learn it. I'm probably being a little too hard on this stopwatch, but how do I get back to the home screen? I don't know. Let me press mode. It worked. Okay, back to the home screen. There are alarms as well. That's another feature. I haven't even tried the alarm. The timer is considered to be one of the alarms. I'm not going to make you guys watch as I fuddle through this, but the manual is great. It has good information, and it's got the legend. So it says L. You can think, okay, L is the one up there. It's got a daily alarm. It's got the timer. It's got the sunrise alarm if you want alarm to go off at the sunrise. It says in the manual that it's really not loud whatsoever, and so it's not going to wake you up from sleep. Don't expect it to wake you up from sleep. You can have it chime at the top of the hour with choice of hour range. A lot of features in this watch. It's just you have to have the manual. It's not intuitive whatsoever how to do it, in my opinion. Not intuitive to me personally. And count down up to set time. What? I don't get it. Anyway, we covered stopwatch, alarms. Backlight. All right, the backlight is just with this button. Oh, no, it's not with that button. Ugh, I messed up. Backlight is right here. I'm trying to have a little bit of light in the room so that maybe you could see it. Oh, why can't I backlight anymore? Can I backlight again? Can I please backlight? Backlight looks really cool. Try to show you a better video of this. This one isn't coming out so well. Check battery. That is a sweet function. I always forget it's here, but it's the backlight button if you just hold it for 2 seconds. I have a full battery right now. You really don't want this thing to run out of battery because, like I said, it's an involved process to reset the time. And the last thing, you can put the watch to sleep to preserve battery, I suppose. That's cool that they have it. And that's all I had about that. On to the positives. Positives. Okay, the positives with the watch. The display is really, really cool. There's tons of information on the watch. It's a unique look and feature set that I don't see with other watches. It makes me in tune with the sun and moon cycles, much more than I ever was. It's really fun to look on the dial and see when lunar noon is, and just go outside and take a look right straight up and see that moon. Yeah, it's really cool to be more aware of the lunar cycle. The tritium tubes are really cool. I mentioned I like looking over at it at night if I set it out. The titanium case is much appreciated. You know, only 82 grams. It feels great on the wrist. The sapphire crystal is really nice. I like having a dual time bezel. I'm a huge fan of those, so I enjoy this. And like I said, since it's light, even though it is a big watch, it doesn't feel like a big watch. It feels like a normal watch. The 2-year warranty is really awesome, and they do battery changes as well. So there's a lot of positives with it. On to the negatives. The biggest negative is the confusing menus, and yeah, I mentioned that. It honestly just induces panic and confusion when I try to use the watch, even for the simplest things. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what weird screens I'm going to get on. I don't know if the back button's going to take me back. Most of the time it doesn't. I really have a hard time with this one. The buttons and menus are not intuitive, and a lot of the functions just take a really long time. You press the button and then you have to wait like 2 seconds or something for something to happen. The stopwatch in particular really confuses me. The compass is one of those ones that's annoying because it really takes a long time for that hand to go all around to the 12. I don't understand why the hand has to move at all. I would prefer if the hand just stayed where it was and it just did the compass thing. Maybe that wasn't possible. I wish it was, though. Another negative is it is a very large watch, so it's a doorknob buster for sure. You know, I bang it into things all the time because it is so thick. Another downside is if it dies, if it runs out of battery and you didn't charge it, it really is annoying to reset the time and recalibrate the hand. It's kind of a minor annoyance. It's just an investment of time that you have to put in. Another downside, the aluminum bezel is easily scratched. That's just kind of what you get with aluminum bezels. It is really pretty, so that's one redeeming aspect to the scratched bezel. Bezel action is loose, and I really would have preferred a 48-click bezel, since the intermediate spots don't do anything for you with a 24-hour bezel. You really only need 48 clicks. The LCD display is not really up to standard with other like STD displays or MIP. So, you know, it's a little ghosty at other angles. It doesn't look premium. It looks cheaper, the LCD display. And then this is a mild annoyance, but it's annoying having to charge it. I do prefer that over having to change batteries. You know, if they could put a battery in there that would last a couple of years, I think I do prefer charging it every few months. But solar would be the best if it was a solar charging watch. And perhaps they could have put that in the chapter ring to have solar charging. Those were my negatives. On to the closing. So was this watch a good or a bad decision for my collection? For me personally, a collector with eclectic tastes and interest in unique timepieces, it was a good choice. A ton of love and care went into the making of the watch, into the design and just everything about it, and I really appreciate that. That comes through. And it truly is a different way of viewing the time. And when I stop to take it all in and I just enjoy the watch, I'm really pleased. It really is a special watch, and I'm blown away at all it has to offer at this price. It does have downsides. Very large, it's kind of a weird case, confusing interface in the buttons, the stopwatch that's basically non-usable for me. Probably the biggest issue with the watch is that you can find the functions it has and so many more on smartwatches that are often way cheaper. It's like a smartwatch, but much clunkier to use, without the heart rate, fitness, sleep monitoring, latitude, longitude, altitude, temperature, weather, MIP display, or some smartwatches, AMOLED displays. Doesn't have a flashlight or solar charging. Those are all things I have on my Garmin Instinct 3. And when I have the watches side to side, it's clear which one is far superior, and that's the Garmin. And they cost the exact same amount. The Garmin I got, the Solar Tactical 45mm, is $450. This is $445. That's what I paid. So they're the same price. And that Garmin is 2.5 millimeters thinner than the Yes watch. So in terms of the user experience, I'm much more pleased with my Garmin. It's much simpler to navigate menus. You have text explanations for things. It's all on there. This LCD display is just much more limited. It has much fewer pixels. And you know, this has the moon phase, this has the sun information, but the Garmin has it too. Let me show you. So here we've got all our sunrise, sunset data. I want to show you how easy it is to use on the Garmin, just as comparison. Moon phase data, there it is, today. It tells me the time, has a little picture of the moon, and I can even cycle to other days, forward and back. Can just see how that's going, see when the full moon was. Full moon was 5 days ago, September 7th. And I can see the new moon will be September 21st. Moonrise, moonset. And then same thing for the sun. Sun data's in here. Super easy to use as well. Sunrise, sunset, twilight even. Okay, what does it say? 6:38 and 7:15. 6:38, 7:15 on my main screen as well. The S Watch certainly looks cooler. Garmin and other smartwatches have that functionality too. And look, I even have a 24-hour display here. Yes Watch is not bringing a ton more to the table in terms of sun and moon. I mean, it is with the rings. The rings are super cool. I do like that a lot. If you like it, you can have the moon phase on the Garmin too. And the $450 I paid for my Garmin is for the really fancy new one. Last I checked, you can get a first generation Garmin Instinct on eBay for $130. The size, function, and user interface are all superior to the Yes Worldwatch. This is not to mention all the other cheaper smartwatches you can find out there. Many with OLED displays, for example, the Amazfit T-Rex, the Fitbit, Google Pixel, Suunto Race, Apple Watch Series 10, All of those are cheaper than the Yes Watch, and I bet the user experience is a lot better. So even though I prefer my Garmin, objectively, if I could only have one watch, obviously it'd be the Garmin, the Yes Worldwatch still is special. And I do have a large collection of watches, so there's definitely room in my personal collection for a watch that's not the best watch of the type. Something very unique and special. Nowhere else will you find this kind of dial presentation. And the Garmin doesn't do it this way either. It's not this kind of display. They do it in a different way. And like I said, the love and care that went into the design really comes through. It's a special experience, and I'm glad to have the Yes Worldwatch in the collection, but it's not for everybody. And quite honestly, if I had gotten the Garmin first, I don't think I would have picked up the Yes Worldwatch. I didn't realize how cool smartwatches have gotten in the 7 years since I last owned one. They are very cool now. But I do enjoy the Yes Worldwatch, and it is for some people, for sure. It's tough that it has so much stiff competition from smartwatches. That's all I have on the watch, and like I do in all my videos, I like to talk about the Bible, so that's what I'll do now. It's Bible time. All right, welcome to Bible time. I'm not a pastor or a biblical scholar. I'm just a Christian who likes sharing the Bible. Today, we're continuing the series on the Hebrews 11 Hall of Faith with person number 8, Joseph. The passage is found in Hebrews 11, verses 11 through 12. By faith, Joseph, when his end was near, spoke about the exodus of the Israelites from Egypt and gave instructions concerning the burial of his bones. The passage is referring to Genesis 50, verses 24 through 25. Then Joseph said to his brothers, I'm about to die, but God will surely come to your aid and take you up out of this land to the land he promised on oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Joseph made the Israelites swear an oath and said, God will surely come to your aid, and then you must carry my bones up from this place. There's a prophecy. He's saying God will come to your aid, and then you must carry my bones up from this place. And it closely matches the 3 previous people I covered. Great-grandpa Abraham, grandpa Isaac, and father Jacob, Joseph's descendants. All 3 of those men believed in God's promises to Abraham and passed them down to subsequent generations. Here, Joseph is doing the same thing. The Study Bible commentary notes that Joseph's instructions regarding his bones, as recorded in Genesis 50:25 that I just read, signify his desire to be associated with the promised land even in death. This act of faith is a powerful symbol of hope and trust in God's promises. It also prefigures the resurrection, as Joseph's bones were eventually carried to Canaan during the Exodus, fulfilling his request and symbolizing the future hope of resurrection for all believers. That's pretty cool too. And I'll read the fulfillment of that. It's found in Exodus 13, verse 19. Moses took the bones of Joseph with him because Joseph had made the Israelites swear an oath. He had said, God will surely come to your aid, and then you must carry my bones up with you from this place. I think it's fair to say that each link in the chain, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, kept the hope alive for Israel. Abraham had great faith, but it didn't die with him. It was carried on through subsequent generations, all the way to Moses, by the faith of many men. And I will note, Moses wasn't in the same line exactly as Joseph. Moses descended from Joseph's brother, Levi, but they all shared the same relation to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But God's people passed on that hope again and again and again because of the example of their predecessors. The bottom line is that God had great plans for his people, and people of faith kept that promise alive and brought it about, Joseph included. So from Hall of Faith analysis perspective, that's the full context. Joseph had great faith in that promise and kept it alive. So I could just end there, but I want to talk a little bit more about Joseph. I want to highlight some other cool things about his life. So I'm just going to give a brief synopsis of Joseph's story as told in the Bible. These are just milestones in his life. First milestone, Joseph was his father's favorite. As I covered last week, he was Jacob's favorite because he was the firstborn of Rachel, who was Jacob's wife that he actually wanted the most. Rachel was the one he chose. So Joseph being the firstborn, he was Jacob's favorite out of the 12 sons. Second milestone, slavery. Jacob gave Joseph a coat of many colors. We're probably all familiar with that. And Joseph's brothers were jealous of him. So they first plotted to kill him, and then he relented and decided to sell him into slavery instead. That's in Genesis 37, verse 28. So when the Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled Joseph up out of the cistern, where they had him captured, and they sold him for 20 shekels of silver to the Ishmaelites who took him to Egypt. He's a slave to somebody in Egypt, and he's falsely accused. That's the third milestone, falsely accused. While in service to Potiphar, Potiphar's wife tried to seduce Joseph. That's found in Genesis 39, 6b to 7. Now Joseph was well built and handsome, and after a while his master's wife took notice of Joseph and said, "Come to bed with me." Joseph refused her repeatedly, and eventually she grabbed his shirt and everything. She falsely accused him of advancing on her, and he ended up in jail. And this is in Genesis 39:20. Joseph's master took him and put him in prison, the place where the king's prisoners were confined. While in prison, he interpreted some dreams. Fourth milestone is him interpreting the Pharaoh's dreams, because the Pharaoh couldn't find anybody to interpret his dreams. Genesis 41, verses 14 through 16. So Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and he was quickly brought from the dungeon. When he had shaved and changed his clothes, he came before Pharaoh. Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I had a dream and no one can interpret it, but I have heard it said of you that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it." "I cannot do it," Joseph replied to Pharaoh, "but God will give Pharaoh the answer he desires." Not taking any credit for that gift that he had. Fifth milestone, Joseph is appointed as governor. He interpreted the dream correctly. Genesis 41, verse 39-40. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Since God has made all this known to you, there is no one so discerning and wise as you. You shall be in charge of my palace, and all my people are to submit to your orders. Only with respect to the throne will I be greater than you." So Joseph assumes this really powerful role in most powerful nation probably on the planet, Egypt, right then. Final milestone, Joseph is reunited with his family. There's a lot of back and forth with the brothers and coming before him, and he's pretending he doesn't know them, and they don't know him. They don't recognize him. He's shaved and everything. But Joseph forgave his brothers is the bottom line here. He's reunited with his family, and he forgives his brothers. And he said that all of it was done by God's will. Genesis 45, verses 4 through 6. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "Come close to me." When they had done so, he said, "I'm your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt." They didn't know what happened to him. And now here he is, one of the most powerful people on the planet. "And now do not be distressed, and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. For 2 years now there has been a famine in the land, and for the next 5 years there will be no plowing and reaping. But God sent me ahead of you to preserve for you a remnant on earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance." Yeah, he had a very, very high purpose. God had a purpose for Joseph and allowed all that to happen. So what a great example of faith from Joseph's life. He ran from temptation with Potiphar's wife. He endured unjust punishment from it, but he was redeemed through God's grace. And throughout all of it, he recognized God's hand in his life, and he remained faithful. He forgave his brothers. It really is an amazing arc, and we should do the same. So lessons from Joseph's story. Number 1, believe in God's promises. As with the other Hall of Faith people, we should trust in God's promises for our lives. Promises our ancestors have put their reliance on as well. We should follow in their examples. Lesson number 2, Joseph forgave others. Joseph forgave his brothers for what they had done to him, sold him into slavery, and he restored his family through this forgiveness. When Joseph revealed himself to his brothers, God changed a story of horrible evil to one of good. It's very inspiring. Number 3, Joseph gave God all the credit for the good things that were done in his life, and we should do the same. That's all I've got on Joseph today. More could definitely be said about Joseph. There's a lot to unpack there. I really breezed through his story, and it's incredibly interesting to read and study, so I recommend that. And next time, I will cover Moses' parents, the 9th people. I guess 9th and 10th, because he has 2 parents. But I'll just say the 9th people named. If you want more biblical analysis, I've linked 4 pastors in the description. Check them out. They're all fantastic. And now for a prayer. Lord, in this time of great evil and anxiety over persecution, Lord, I know that you promise us that blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. I know that we have that awaiting us, all of us who are persecuted. I'm not going to say I'm personally persecuted, but it certainly feels like Christians are being persecuted a lot. I know Joseph went through incredible hardship, and he remained faithful. And Lord, I pray that you would give us all the faith of Joseph, to believe in your promises, to forgive others, and to give you the glory when great things happen in our lives. And Lord, I am so grateful for all the tremendous things you've done in my life. You've redeemed me. Even on this earth, there's been so many things that show me that you love me and you've redeemed. I pray that you would help others who are going through difficult times and give them hope in what is to come for them. You will wipe every tear, and we can be with you forever. Lord, that's a wonderful promise that you give us. Thank you so much for this world and for the world to come. Praise you, and I thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. Now may the Lord of peace himself give you peace always and in every way. The Lord be with you all. See you next time.